it!
The original Pathfinder movie was based on a Sami legend that is more than 1,000 years old.
It was a movie that Mike Medavoy always really loved and wanted to do a remake of.
We made the original movie in 1987, and at that time it was quite an undertaking.
It was in the Cannes Film Festival, and I think it got nominated as a Best Foreign Film.
It was about a boy who comes home and finds his family massacred.
I was so impressed with the story that I decided to, at first, try to adapt that story as a film. Then one day, I was having a conversation with Marcus.
And he gives me the outline, and I says, "This is the outline of Pathfinder." He says, "I own the rights." I said, "Let's talk." And we sat down and I pitched him a much simpler idea.
He wanted to do something bigger than life, a comic book, an illustration, something with action.
And he said, I know exactly how to do that. He said, you take the existing story and make it like First Blood with Vikings and Indians. And we were blown away.
I thought, wow, what a brilliant idea. First of all, it's never been done.
We made the deal that day, and Pathfinder started to get into gear. Roll camera.
Hey, Mark!
We hammered out the first draft, and we tried to do it without any dialogue at all. And I think that is sort of like real cinema, real filmmaking, you know, to really just have the pictures do the talking. Then Lita Kalogridis came on board, and she turned into something I didn't think it could be, a love story. And ultimately, you know, attach some message to it that you have to conquer your own inner demons in order to save the world.
There are two wolves fighting in every man's heart. One is love. The other is hate.
At the time, I was researching Viking scripts, and they all had like battles at sea and, you know, the big ham hocks.
Most Americans think of the Vikings, you know, as the Minnesota football team or as these lovable guys, you know, just roving the ocean, having a good time.
Not a lot of people, for some strange reasons, that take Vikings seriously.
The Europeans are much more realistic about what they were, which was terrible thieves, murderers. They pillaged most of Northern Europe and were really the worst of the bad guys.
Anna lacht. Wir werden Athrida. Requiem so stralkens at Nastathorpe.
The Vikings did come to America, certainly came to this continent before Christopher Columbus, probably 500 years, possibly even earlier. What is slightly controversial is how far south they actually came.
Since then, they have found evidence of artifacts that are further south than anybody ever thought. You know, up to one point that people thought they just had been to New Brunswick, and that was about it.
One of the things that we have to remind is that this is a what-if story. This is a comic book. You know, it's not any specific people, and it is depicting 800 A.D.
Here's what I know, which is that nobody knows nothing.
In truth, nobody was around. Nobody's really recorded this to the you know, every aspect of it. So we can take license with it.
So this movie, it's not a history lesson, but it definitely, you know, takes that as a jumping off point.
Who are they? Why did they come here?
This is something different. It's something that I haven't done. And I don't think anybody else has done it. I don't think anybody's told this story.